Hello, my name is Shaw. Welcome to Long Story. Today we talk about Thor: Love and Thunder, this next Marvel Cinematic Worldview commentary. Thanks for coming. Let's get into it. Alright, so what is Love and Thunder? Why is it titled that? Why is it so that Thor can be something intertwined with Love and Thunder? Is it something that is binded between his spirits and normalizing the things that he is to be? Or is it something more than that? Is this title meaning something more than what it is intended for? And what does this whole thing accumulate to as we talk about this movie in general? And the thing is, when you think about this movie, and you think about the circumstances in this movie, what is the overall theme? What does it have to do with anything that we have talking about here today? There's one thing to hold in question. What is the overall ties of this movie in terms of the real world? And due to that, why do we think about movies in terms of the real world aspect? Thor: Love and Thunder is a way to escape the world. Escape what entities are in the world. The ginormous drags that are within the world. And the things that keep us from being who we want to be. But also the hard work that goes into making a movie. In terms of making yourself. And the thing is, when we think about all this entirely, there's something that is beheld on the whole thing of noticing what it means to be in a situation that requires a little bit of effort. And while this movie did that, Taika Waititi did that. Even though it didn't receive ravishing reviews, it's still a movie worth talking about. Due to the themes of love, sacrifice, and honor. And due to also the factors of real life causes like cancer and, family. The thing is, when you think about this film entirely, there's something to take away from it all. But here's the thing, what are the nooks and crannies? What are the things that we can take away from something like this in terms of, the general outspeaking of things? Well, let's go into detail. So there's a theme that goes through and through when you talk about this movie. Love and power. Being powerful and being loving are two great entities when you talk about something like Love and Thunder. The overall theme is just to Thor finding himself, finding what his worth is. And then, he meets a girl, his girlfriend, Jane, who is now worthy in the honor of having Mjolnir to lift. And the honor of being Lady Thor. And that is something that is great, because they team up to go against a virus, to go against someone who feels as though he's been mistreated as well. He ends up being a main threat for Thor, as well as Lady Thor, Jane. And because of this, there's a fight that ensues, and Jane gives up her life for the greater good. And that's what's great about this whole thing. She ends up being somewhere in the line of power and love. She chooses the powerfulness of sacrificing herself for the greater good. And that's something that we can all take away from this. Sacrificing yourself for the greater good. That's love. But in all, what does power and love mean to us? What does it mean on a real scale between you and I? Well, application of course. Okay, so there's a seemingly great spot when handling something like this. It's seemingly what it means to be loving and powerful. So, in your everyday life, what are you doing to sacrifice? What are you doing to love? What are you doing to make sure that everything that you do is in the power of love, sacrifice, and honor? How are you sacrificing your time for your children? How do you put in time for your job, doctor, lawyer, whatever it may be? How do you put in time for what you want to do in life? How do you put in time to make sure you have what you want to take in place? What is your verbiage on effort? What is your verbiage on sacrifice? What is your verbiage on honor? See, all these things work together. And what the movie does is it shows us what it means to have those three things. And so, what are you doing to make sure those three things imminent in your life? And what can you do to make the power and love come shine through them? Thank you for my application. Let's continue forward. Thank you for coming along the story. They were going to the Marvel Cinematic Worldview commentary. There are more commentaries in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys can never get there by hitting the share, like, and subscribe button right under the screen. Also, by hitting the bell, if you like it if you can too. Also, consider following my Patreon, link in the description. Thank you again, and peace.